Hey Hofstra fans, welcome inside the WBB Mason Coaches Report. Carrie Schreiber joined by the head coach of the Hofstra women's basketball team, Krista Kilburn-Steveskey. How are you doing today?
Doing well.
And now, of course, the season starts, opens up right here at home against Central Connecticut State University. What are you feeling right now? Do you have any jitters?
Not yet. It's Tuesday. Ready to get it rolling, ready to start. I know the players are ready to go, and it's just exciting to have our first home game, and it'd be a doubleheader with the men, so we're pretty excited for our 6 o'clock tip-off on Friday.
And what's the vibe of the team been like so far? I know it's early, like you said.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're ready to play. I think we are always a little bit more eager, as a coaching staff, and we know our coming together is still a process, but they're ready to get going. They're tired of playing against each other, and it's time to get it started.
And we'll look a little bit at the front court. You worked a lot with Elo Ediferoka on the off-season one-on-one. What were some of the things that were worked on, and what's it going to take for her to reach her potential to being one of those top players in the CAA?
Right. It's funny you're talking about her because I was just talking to Dia Ravel, the post coach, just here shortly before the show, and she was just commending how Elo wants to do things right the first time you tell her. You don't have that very often with players. If you tell her you need to work on this part here, she just goes to work and works on it. And so she's improved her game. The things that were her weaknesses last year, she has made a point to overcome those. So it's nice to coach a player like that. It's nice to coach a player that, I've been in teaching and coaching for 24 years. So it's the early days of teaching as being a teacher. It's that old saying that you have to say things over and over and over and over and over again, but it's nice to have a few refreshing players that really want to listen and really want to get better, and I think she sees the potential of her development.
And now another player, looking at the guards, Krista Luciano last year, she stepped up in a big role, lost a lot of minutes, she ran the point. So what are some of your expectations for her this year?
Well, I think that luxury of having a freshman really get that nod early has helped her development where she is right now. I think physically, even though she's smaller in stature, she plays strong, and her skill set, her craftiness, her ability to pass the ball, see the floor very well, kind of see the canvas. She can kind of paint, the way the game looks. Now, she still takes those little $1 million passes sometimes. I keep telling her, quit making that $1 million pass with a 2-cent finish sometimes, but she's really developed her game.
And then what about Asia Jackson? She comes back. She's the leading. She has an average points per game with over 7.
Right.
What role do you think she's going to play?
Yeah, I think Asia's finding herself a little bit more. She had a little bit of a setback. She's back in full, tilt practice now. So I think she's a little bit behind the curve than she would have liked to be a junior. So, she's certainly trying to get back in the swing of practice and. Really get herself motivated and, working on the things that she needs to work on. She goes and attacks the basket so well. She's just focusing on her finishing, controlling it, and pulling her shot up. She's got a really nice jump shot. So, those are things that she's working to get better.
And now looking at the game against a CCSU coming up, what are some of the challenges, besides it just being the first game of the season, what challenges do you see based on the scouting report? Yeah,
well, it's like a bigger challenge because they have a new roster, we have a new roster, so the unpredictability, they're thinking about what we're doing is the same as we're thinking about them. A lot of their, top guards have graduated or top post players, but they do have a strong crew coming back and some really strong freshmen. So that's it. When it's your first game, you're less familiar with what they're doing right now. You're based on films and things from the past season. So but it's equal playing field on both sides. A tough competitive team. We lost last year, so I think a lot of those feelings you don't have to explain that to the players on the court that were here last year. We just want to protect our house, and they want to have a good shot at beating them this year.
And I know last week you also said that it takes a while for a team to come together.
Right.
We all understand that, but what are some of the expectations just going to be in general of the start, and what do you want to see them do?
Well, they need to play, like I always keep saying, it's a lot tougher, a lot stronger, with a lot of tenacity, and I think that's what helps you win those games when maybe the execution is off a little bit here, or you're doing your best to get going. If you just have that relentless attitude and win the hustle plays, I think that's some of the awakening of having a young group. You have to go after it, play for those hustle plays, get that extra rebound,